So that's a real word. If you know it, please pretend you don't. So a dyslexic phonetic decoder might go,
So installation.
whether or not they are correct, they have no idea what it means. And that's the end of the story. A dyslexic morphophonemic decoder might go,
Well, ATION is probably ATE plus ION, and ATE makes it a verb or an adjective, so probably like make or do something that way, like in devastate. But ION makes it a noun, like the act of or incident of or a case of. So it's probably the act of something being made in STAUR. And in usually means not, like invisible, but it could mean in, like invigorate. So it's either the act of something being made not STAUR, or the act of something getting STAUR in it, or being like filled with it, like invigorate.
Now just to interrupt here, I'm serious, a lower schooler who's been studying morphology could get this far. Even a very dyslexic one. Pause to take in the difference. Sounding it out, the phonetic decoder's working memory is maxed out by the time they reach the 7th sound, if not sooner. And so, in order to hold the pronunciation at all, they need to quickly blend multiple phonemes into syllables or a similar word part. For example, IN becoming in, and now taking up only one mental slot. This way, they can free up more working memory for the rest of the word. Many students at this point take a stab at an orthographic pronunciation of the rest of the word, abandoning letter-by-letter analysis and guessing at the rest based on its general shape, contour, or letter content, but without necessarily ascertaining all of the letters or the specific order they're all in. Then they add to this what they might predict it to be based upon the part that they've already decoded. How often will this be correct? Even students who are very good at it will often be wrong, and when they're right, the only way they have to check that is to ask someone or to look it up. And until they do one of those things, even if they're right, they have no idea what the word means. Phonetic decoding is severely throttled by working memory and only provides a pronunciation devoid of any meaning. The morphophonemic approach, however, offers a much more positive experience, already having recognized and being right about 3 of the 4 morphemes in the word. Much less working memory has provided much more information, not necessarily about pronunciation, but definitely about meaning, which is what we're reading for in the first place, meaning, even without knowing what the base is. This process is infinitely more empowering than phonetic decoding. Both students have encountered a word they do not know. One student is deflated, the other is curious and feeling smart.
What the heck is STAUR? The only thing I can think of is it reminds me of SAUR, like in dinosaur, which means lizard. But that can't be the same family because they don't have the same structure. I can't just ignore the T. Though the act of making something into a lizard seems like a word I could get behind. But what about restaurant? We looked that up because some people thought it was RE something, and other people thought it was REST something. Like maybe it was RE because you go back again and again, but maybe it was REST because you can go there and rest and relax. It turned out they were both right because REST is actually a combination of RE and a very old sense for something like ST. A very old sense where something like ST meant stay. So rest was like stay back. But in a restaurant, we can't use REST because then we would have AUR by itself. And that's not a morpheme we know of. But RE is, and STAUR is now. STAUR turned out to be related to store, STORE, as in to put things away for later. So a restaurant is a place where you restore yourself with food. RE is again, and STAUR is store, as in like put away or like refill your energy storage. So a restaurant is literally like a restaurant or a restoria, a restorery. So if that's the same as STAUR, then instauration would be something like the act of putting stores in, or like refilling your supplies, or something you should stock up on. Maybe?
So a curious student at this point, and a lot of students who do this become very curious, they might want to dig deeper and see how we ended up with STAUR and STORE having such similar meanings but different spellings. Do they have a common ancestor? And that student might find that, yes, they probably do. Because if you go way back, you find a whole slew of words that relate to that old ST or STA form that all have something to do with standing or making or being firm. And that would likely start changing the way they look at many spellings over the long haul. But in the moment, it would probably make them more confident that instauration means something like the act of storing something up, like so you don't run out, or so you have it when you need it. And that would be an excellent theory about the meaning of this rather uncommon word. And it happens to be correct. But even if it weren't, the whole process of inquiry is perpetually reinforcing the learning that preceded it, and a reasonable guess quickly starts to feel like a success, because it is. The more evidence, the better. This is surely why Pete Bowers sometimes wishes he'd called SWI the scientific word inquiry. The structure of the inquiry is indeed scientific.